G'day you mob, how's it going? Welcome to this episode of Pete vs. Plants. I am Pete and the plants are in the boxes. So yeah, it's been one of those weeks, guys. It's been one of those weeks. All right, so anyway, let's just get into it. Whew. All right. So I think we may have an aroid to begin with, guys. Oh, we do indeed. I'm surprised this is already here because the person only sent me the tracking number today. So I was sort of expecting it later this week. So, let's see if we can get all this tape off. What's going on here? Is the plant caught? I think we're good. That's tissue. So I have here a white vein gloriosum. Stunning, huh? So I often see these guys called the Zebrina online just because they have incredibly white veins, very, very, very obvious veins. So I bought this as an investment plant. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head how much it was. I think it might have been about 140 bucks. I'll double check and I'll put it down below. I may be way off, but I think that was about what it was. These tend to be going for a much higher price than standard gloriosums, the green form. And so now I have the standard green form in my collection. I've got the dark form with large white veins as well, similar to this one. And I now have the Zebrina. So this is the really, really, really popular one. I'm hoping to grow this one out and then propagate it and hopefully flood the market, guys. Make it more available for the average person who wants to get their hands on what I reckon is probably the most beautiful version of gloriosum. So anyway, that is number one. And I like when people do a good job with packaging and they send it in a pot because it definitely makes my life easier because I don't have to pot it up. She's ready to go. And the roots haven't been disturbed. So hopefully that means she hits the ground running when I give her the treatment. So I'll spray her down with some insecticide. With small plants like this, I don't really bother keeping them separate from the collection for that long. One, because I've just got plants in every room of the house effectively. And two, when they're this small, you should be able to kind of go over it with a fine-tooth comb, you know, pretty quickly, give it a wash down, give it a spray, and really it should be okay, you know. And it's one of those things too, I've resigned myself to the fact that my collection's never going to be pest-free. So as long as I'm not obviously intentionally or mindlessly introducing really, really, really vicious pests into my collection, I've already got things like spider mites and fungus gnats, so I'm really not too phased about, yeah, those things getting in if they're already here, as long as it's not thrips. I knock on wood, I haven't had a significant thrips issue. This is interesting. There seem to be roots sort of popping out all over the shop here. So, that's a weird one. I wonder why they're sticking out from underneath. I might have to repot this guy actually. Maybe we do that because there are too many roots sort of going all over the place. I'd rather they were under the soil. Okay. It's interesting that there are a whole bunch above the surface, but that the roots at the bottom here had grown through the holes at the bottom. So not sure what had happened there. So I'm just going to sort of get the aerials. I'm going to remove some of these sheaths. It looks like he's removed a few of the original older leaves. Try and get the aerials and the other roots and have them facing down in this pot. And you know what? Whilst we're here, it's probably a good chance to chuck this one in a clear pot so that I can keep an eye on the root health and everything else in there instead of using a black pot. It's not racism, guys. It's just a preference, okay? Clear pots all the way. And I might also sort of situate it further to the back because these guys are crawlers and give it a little more room to crawl forwards towards the other side of the pot, if that makes sense. So, okay. Now with these guys, it's very important to not bury the stem. I think, you know, it probably goes without saying, but because they're crawlers, the temptation is often to, you know, bury the stem probably deeper than you really should. but you want to kind of have the soil at about the level of, I guess, halfway up the stem, give or take, to just make sure that it doesn't get too submerged and end up too wet, because that's when it may rot. So yeah, just something to be aware of with crawlers. At least that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been practicing. I haven't had one rot on me yet, but yeah. And it's an interesting one. A lot of crawlers seem to have the roots kind of come, the aerial roots kind of come out from all the way around the node. So that's another reason you may want to lift the soil level slightly, but not go over the top, pun intended, because you want as many of those aerial roots activating from that moisture that they're exposed to and digging into the soil. If the soil level's really low and the stem is kind of just sitting on the surface of the soil, you'll probably get, you know, 1 or 2 aerial roots there activating, the ones that are in contact with the soil, but all the ones around the side won't do anything, or at least it's less likely, unless they're in a very, very, very humid environment. So yeah. Okay, there we go. She's potted up. I will give her a spray down. The soil's pretty moist, as you can probably see from it sticking on my hands like this, so I'm not going to water it for probably a half a week or so. I'll just keep an eye on it and see how we go, and then I will also inoculate it with mycorrhizal fungus and give it the treatment with my nutrient solution that has tannin in it to be able to smash any fungus gnats or other things that are in there eating the soil. All right, so I think that's it for the aroids today. So if you're not a succulent or cacti fan, you can click off. No, don't click off. Keep watching to the end, guys, to the end. Don't forget, that's what YouTube wants. You click off now, and somewhere someone kills a kitten, I've heard. If you don't watch the YouTube videos to the end, I'm pretty sure that's what happens. So I guess it's on your conscience now. You better watch to the end, or someone's going to, yeah, chuck a kitten in a sack. Anyway, let's think about something a little more positive. The joke is over. People really do that? Oh man, we've got, we had, my sister's cat just recently passed away, probably about 4 months ago. Maybe a little longer. And we found, I think, no, it was a family friend found that cat that we ended up getting and 2 other kittens, these 3 kittens, in a bag in a cemetery. Don't ask me why the person was in the cemetery. Well, I assume that they were going to, you know, see someone who'd passed away probably, you know, or buying drugs, who knows. But they found this sack of cats and brought them back, and we all sort of got them, or at least different people did. One got farmed out to a bunch of different families. So yeah, heartless bastards, man. It's one of those things, I don't know how people can be that heartless to, you know, just spread that kind of suffering. I think really, just be responsible pet owners. If you're going to get a pet and it's going to get pregnant and it's your fault, right? Like, you should have got your animal desexed, should have kept it inside. You should have warned them about it and given them contraception, and the birds and the bees talk. I mean, come on. Anyway, this is getting derailed, so let's just get back to the cacti. Well, agave in this case. And it's really funny where you can smell someone's perfume, or I don't know if it's like, maybe it's scented tissues. Maybe that's what they've got here. Yeah, it's the tissues here are really, really scented. That's kind of really bizarre when you get that. Anyway, I have here a rare agave. It is an agave potato Kitchurkan, and it is variegated. So feast your eyes on this stunner. She's a beauty, and I'm looking forward to growing this one out. I think it was from a grower up in Queensland. Agave are an interesting one, guys. Like, I don't really like a lot of them, but the ones that I do, I love. And the prices seem to be all over the shop. Like, it seems like some of them, for the same individual one, you'll see it for sale somewhere for $30, and then someone else will have it up for $150, and you're kind of like, are you guys like not looking at each other's stores and trying to sort of come to a consensus of what this thing is worth? Are you just sort of, you know, pulling a number out of your butt? How are you deciding on these prices? It's so random. Anyway, pop this one up in some cactus mix. I have it down here on the ground, so again, forgive me for going off screen. We can try something cool, guys. We can try something cool. Are you ready? So, how was that? Was that cool? Was that cool or what? Transitioning, huh? So, anyway, before I break my arm jerking myself off, here we go. That's what it looks like. okay? I need to really get out of that habit. That is what it looks like, okay? The joke is done. Shut up, Pete. Beautiful, 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 beautiful variegation on this one. I love the dark teeth on it too. If you look up an image of this guy mature, they are absolutely stunning. So I'm holding out high hopes that this one is going to turn into an absolute ripper of an agave. Okay, man, look at that. And we have a whole bunch of these little peanuts that I can use next time I send some stuff. Oof, those tissues stink. That is some strong, 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 potent perfume on those things. Oh, don't get a moustache, guys. It's a pain in the butt. It just gets in your mouth. Feels like something's up your nose sometimes when the hair gets up there. Oh yeah, first world problems. All right, now to the pièce de résistance. These next cacti are from my good friend. Well, we're becoming mates. I've started chatting to him, seeing as I'm purchasing so many cacti from him. Corey from Spine City, guys. So if you are after some absolutely stunning, stunning cacti, check out Spine City. He is a lovely, lovely guy and has been helping me kind of wrap my head around cactus care and cultivation and everything like that. So again, massive thank you, Corey. I absolutely love your plants, as you can probably tell. I think half my collection is probably from Corey. Each week he chucks up, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 cacti on eBay, auctioning them off, and it's just so hard to resist purchasing a few. And I will give you another look on screen of his card, so check him out. Absolutely lovely dude, 100% recommend checking out what he has for sale. He also has stuff for sale on his website as well. Now, what have we got here? 2, 4, 6, 8, dig in, don't wait, 9. We've got 9 cacti. So I should mention too, I nipped past Diaco nursery today and grabbed a whole bunch of these trays. I don't think I'm gonna ever have to buy any more of these trays. I think I grabbed like 20 or so that they were throwing out. And I did the same for these larger ones. So again, as I've said previously, guys, if you want free pots and trays, go to your local nurseries and just ask if they have like a recycling bin or something that they have lying around where you can just go and rummage through like some homeless person looking for a half-eaten burger and rip out some of these pots and get them for free. Because, let's give you a squeeze. I ended up getting these for free today, and you feel good walking away knowing that you are recycling some of these pots. Now, I probably should give these a wash. So I might go and do that and then give them a bit of a spritzing with some methylated spirits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will make sure that I have 9 here to wash, and we'll be right back. All right, just gonna have a quick snack. Oh, that was good. Okay, let's get into it. Boom. I've had way too much caffeine today. I feel like that's the case every single day. All right, so. Ooh, stunner. So this is a Trichocereus species J3 cross with Los Baños cross palarensis. So it's a hybrid Trichocereus, and actually there are no Trichocereus. It's a sort of no longer used genus. They are, I think, Echinocereus or Echinocactus. I think I'll put it below, but yeah, it's interesting when you look into it. They started using, or people use Trichocereus to try and differentiate the species in this genus that grow as columns instead of globular cacti. So anyway, I've grabbed a whole bunch of these, and I'll have a show and tell video because I've got a whole bunch of stuff sitting here that I've purchased recently at Bunnings and other nurseries, but I'm grabbing a whole bunch of these to hopefully use as grafting stock and to grow out and see how they'll go anyway. Okie dokie artichoke. Okay, label in, there we go. Center myself up here on the camera, jeez. One beautiful astrophytum. So this is a I find this so difficult to pronounce. Fukuryu. Fukuryu. You guys will have to let me know. Can I show you here? Yeah, there you go. There's the spelling. Fukuryu. Fukuryu, Japan plus Thailand genetics. So very cool. These guys, they almost look like, I don't know, they're kind of like the Hulk, right? If I show you this a little more closely, check out the ripples on it. It's just great. They look like veins on a bodybuilder who's overdosed on steroids. But yeah, absolutely stunning. And that's what the Fukuryu refers to, the veining here. And I should mention, guys, the reason these are on graft, right? So they have a different cactus below, and then the scion, are on top. The reason that occurs, or people do that, is because they're trying to speed up the growth of the cactus on top, the scion, right? So that hopefully it flowers sooner and you could use it for breeding quicker to produce seed or to take the pollen from and pollinate something else. So that's why, and you just degraft them when you're ready. You just chop them off, you know, at about that line, maybe slightly higher to make sure that you're cutting through the scion itself and you don't have any of the graft on the bottom. And then you can just let it dry and allow it to grow roots and then put it on some soil and it, you know, ends up growing its own roots and wham bam, thank you ma'am for the fast forward, right? You got a head start using another cactus. And the reason that I'm stocking up on some of these is probably pretty evident, but I'm wanting to do some breeding of my own. So I would love a whole bunch, and that's what I've sort of been acquiring, a whole bunch of these different cultivars from the genera that I find really, really interesting and appealing. Astrophytum, Lophophora, Turbinicarpus, Eriocarpus. These seem to be the genera that are really, really beautiful. Gymnocalycium, there's a whole bunch of them. But that's why I'm purchasing a bunch of these at the moment. I want to have them in my greenhouse outside, growing quickly. And I've already started crossing different hybrids and different species that are already flowering. So you just take a cotton bud, dip it in the pollen, and you can, you know, if they're flowering at the same time, you can cross-pollinate them. So this is Trichocereus cuscuensis CC times Psycho 0. So I had no idea, and it's really fascinating to me still, but there is a huge subculture within cactus collectors that are obsessed with Trichocereus like this and love hybridizing them, creating their own hybrids. So there's apparently thousands upon thousands of different kinds of strains, variants, cultivars of Trichocereus, which to the average person looks like, you know, and I felt this way at the start, a kind of boring plain cactus, right? It's just a sort of tall green thing. But yeah, I'm still sort of learning bits and pieces about it, but there seems to be a huge, huge, huge crowd that find them, you know, the bee's knees, right? The witch's tits. And just go crazy for them. Just go nuts. I think it'll probably become a little more evident about why these guys are cool the larger they get. When they're small like this, it's probably a little harder to sort of make out the interesting characteristics, but once they size up, that's probably when they're going to start screaming at me, I'm cool because of this. Oof, another Trichocereus. This one is Trichocereus Peru ferret times Tertius validus times Psycho. So it's been a hybrid of a hybrid of a bunch of hybrids of a bunch of hybrids. Very cool. Love it. I love too that someone's actually kept track of that. Corey's kept track of which it is, you know, so all these different hybrids. Astrophytum Fukuryu, and this one is Kiko Yoroi. So slightly different from the previous one that you saw. This one looks like it has white down these ribs, which, yeah, again, I just find these so stunning. No spines on them, absolutely beautiful. They're just such cool cacti, guys. You gotta check out Astrophytum. It's probably my favorite genus, to be honest. They just look like rocks, you know? They look like some weird globular rock thing that's just growing and is, you know, green and photosynthesizes. All right, now, next up is, ooh, this one looks like it could be a Copiapoa. Nope. Thalocephala or Thalocephala. These ones I'm just, yeah, enamored with as well. They have this kind of iridescent purpley brown, dark green, turquoise kind of coloration to them, and the knobbliness on them is just epic, right? With these tiny little spines, dark black spines that are coming out. Again, just seriously cool plants. So Thalokephila esmeraldana. And I think I'm doubling up on a few of these because I want to be able to create pure species seed as well, instead of, you know, if I've got a Thalokephila and another Thalokephila that's a different species, the only way that I have to make seed is by crossing them and creating a hybrid. Okay, there we go, that one's done. Give it a label. Thalokephila esmeraldana. Burp, 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 burp. 3 left, guys. We've got 3 left. We'll smash through them, okay? I won't keep you too long. Thanks again, Corey, on a magnificent job packing these as well. Oh my God, this one's a stunner. Here is Thalocactus phymatothelys, and you are going to have your hats blown off. I'll keep it clean, guys. Your hats blown off by this one. I tell you what, and look at that fat taproot. Wow, this one's never been grafted. Look at the waves down the side of it from just the, I guess they're, what are they called again? Jeez, mind fart. Tubercles down the side there, or those fat nipply looking things with spikes on them. Absolute stunner, like wow, just beautiful. I love these ones, and especially when you look from the top, you're just like, what? Craziness. Anyway, just calm your farm, Pete. Pot her up and get to the next one. This one might need a larger pot, guys. Far out. Needs more space for its roots. What a stunner. You'll see just these ripples, man. These cacti where you can see the skin, the epidermis there, and when they're sort of grey, they've got this grey whitey kind of colour on the outside. This is a layer that protects them from the harsh UV, from harsh sunlight, so that they don't get scorched. It just really wets my whistle, guys, you know? It's just so good. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, there wasn't any specific accent, guys. It was just me being an idiot. So don't cancel me. But yeah, absolutely cool. Okay, so Thalocactus, not to be confused with Thalokephila, different genus. Phymatothelys. Very cool. And I actually have to write down on the previous one, I've got some type locality numbers here that I need to include, just so that I don't lose that information. It's always cool to have the type locality, or the accession number potentially, probably the person, WM257, it's probably the person's initials, and the specimen number from when they collected them. So yeah, it's always cool. You can look those up, guys, and find out where the cactus was actually collected, or where the seed was collected originally. It won't be that cactus you've got, at least hopefully not. All right, 2 left. Oof. So I was happy to get this one. This is an Astrophytum again. It is an Asterias hybrid, and this one has really, really interesting, would you say like veination or ribs down the side here that I find just really, really cool, really fascinating. So I was keen to get this one's genetics, because if you cross it with other ones, it'll be really interesting to see what kind of hybrids you end up with and the patterning they have, especially if you can cross it with something like a myristigma or any of the really interesting Asterias cultivars. You know, it's going to be cool to see what happens. So, very cute. What a cutie. I love these ones too. And I think it'll be a nudum variant too, because there are no trichomes on it. It looks nude, right? No spines, no trichomes, just these fluffy white little aerials, I guess, the tips to the aerials to protect them. So I get this one labeled as well. Astrophytum Asterias hybrid. All right, lucky last. What's in the box? In the box. What's in the box today? Oh man. Phyrocactus totoralensis. This one's going to blow your socks off, guys. Oh, what a whopper! Woo! Look at that one. Dark. There's like, what would you say? Like it's black, it's brown, it's got that purpley dark turquoise iridescence to it as well, and just these vicious, vicious spines. I find these just really, really cool, these cacti that just have these really, really dark spines that, yeah, the knobbliness, the dark spines, it wets my whistle. Absolutely wets my whistle. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This one, I wonder if it'll fit. I might need a bigger pot for this one too. All right, so there we go. That's probably my favorite of the bunch, guys. Far out. Just, can't wait to see these size up too. Corey, you've outdone yourself, mate. I am so, so, so proud to have these in the collection. So, Pyro, 2 R's, an H and an O. Oh, interesting. Cactus, Toralensis. So cool. So, look at these guys. Like, if I'm not converting you, I hope you guys are starting to get on the cactus bandwagon, because it's one hell of a ride once you start getting your tastes to evolve. You pick out the kinds of cacti that you like, and they're just so much cheaper than aroids. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Smash the like button if you did, and subscribe as well. And check this video out next, and I'll see you there. Ciao.